Legs, head, feet.
So with that one, I think
Hey,
we
wait
say
a minute.
like,
We don't have to do this podcast.
We all seen a cat.
Eyes.
There
Wait,
are
let
a
me
few,
try.
There
Nose.
are,
back, front, under.
there are a few spots that are at least not readily understood what they are, like the croup.
Oh, I'm looking at labels here that I've never heard some of these words ever.
Save it for the
We're
pod,
recording.
guys.
This is the intro.
Oh, good. We have an intro then. I thought we were going to have to pretend to be talking to each other before
No,
the
we
pod.
just did it. That was it.
Great.
We never pretend on this podcast, Dan. Now, fuck you. Welcome to PuzzyBoyz, the only and therefore #1 podcast for real men who love their cats. My name is Nick Maritato. My cat's name is motherfucking Lily.
My name is Zach Broussard, and my little bitch-ass kitty cat is named Mochi.
My name is Danny Solomon. My son of a stupid fuck is named Marv.
My name's Adam, and my little son of a bitch is named Greg, and my wife has a cat named Holiday.
Folks, we are the PuzzyBoyz, and guess what? That's all Z's, because if you put the S's in, it becomes pornographic. All right, let's go
Finally
to our first
said
segment. Our first segment is called This Week in Cat. Does anybody want to share like a story about, I don't know, their cat?
And maybe the week.
Yeah.
I have a story about my cat, and it took place this week. Does that qualify?
I think it does.
That checks
Yeah.
most of the boxes.
Uh-huh.
So Marv, I was actually gone for this. This is a story that was kind of dictated to me by Natalie, my wife. But Marv was out on the porch.
This is kind of like an oral tradition passed down from
Yeah.
Natalie, my wife, to me.
And now to you. What was that voice?
I was an
that-
Italian guy.
All right.
Let's move on.
No matter what it sounds like, whenever Nick does a voice, it is an Italian guy. Don't try to make it anything else.
I'm a very talented.
So yeah, I was gone, and during the time that I was gone, Natalie bravely let Marv out on the porch alone, which usually we need to have two people in the house letting him out because one person needs to be... We have a pincer move that we do whenever he tries to run away, where one of us goes one direction after him, and then the other one goes out the front door and around the entire apartment complex so that we can close in on him. But she decided to let him out by herself, and that was a big mistake because there is a new cat in town, a new stray cat, orange, and very young, I think. He's like a little young orange guy who's been showing up, and he popped his head out from underneath the porch, and Marv lost his shit.
Whoa.
Wow.
And jumped through the bars and almost chased him over the fence, over like the concrete fencing that separates our apartment building from the parking lot next door. And then Natalie called him, and he walked right back.
Whoa.
And didn't.
Oh my God.
So we have really, I think, gotten him trained to the point where even if our worst nightmare comes true, another cat trying to impede on his territory, the thing that makes him blind with rage, we can settle him down by just saying his name and asking him to come back, and he'll do it.
That's really cool.
That's super impressive. How'd she call him?
She just said, "Marv, come here." Well, I don't know.
Oh, no, I know.
That was a guess.
And when he heard come,
Yeah.
he came running back.
So, any feelings about this orange cat that you guys just left in the cold?
So I felt the same way when
Guy rolls up. He's like, "Brother, can you spare a dime?"
I mean, honestly,
Your fucking killer Marv chases him off.
Yeah, you clearly have the
And
heart
then
that you brought
Mommy
him
calls
in.
him back. Mommy.
But he clearly out-toughed this other cat. Like this other cat was terrified and didn't want anything to do. He did not want that smoke, as Nick and other younger children say.
Well,
I don't think I deserve it.
I hated hearing you talk about smoke. You're not young like me.
I do it ironically, and it's funny. I reappropriate it for old people.
But the orange cat, it was about to catch them hands, right?
Yeah, so there are two cats with Riz that come around. I don't know. There are two cats.
Hey, I like that.
There are two other cats that come around. It's this one who's like a younger orange cat, and then there's another older gray cat that Natalie has called Old Deuteronomy, who also shows up. And whenever they're out there, Marv will chase them. But the thing is, these two cats, we're not going to take them in ever because Marv won't allow it. And I feel like the reason why is the same reason why my dad doesn't like immigrants, which is because he's an immigrant. And sometimes they just like to close the door behind them.
I didn't know where that was going. I got scared real fast.
No, I do think it is a thing that it almost is talked about too little in the political landscape. It's
Certainly
how many
in cat
immigrants, once they get through the door, they're like, okay, now shut it down.
So we'll probably say that Marv is a Trump voter, probably.
Marv is like one of those like Florida Cuban Trump voters who's just like, sure, on paper it seems like this guy is really gonna vote the way you want him to, but in reality he just is loving America, loves money, loves just living the lavish
Marv
life.
is Melania.
We're just gonna.
Yeah, maybe they thought Marv was Melania, but now Marv is like a baron.
Well, Marv is kind of
long.
like
He's big, yeah.
He's worked really hard to get under your wing and to get your affection and your home and your money and just your sanity, really. And he's not going to let some fucking hussy roll up.
Yeah, he hit the jackpot for stray cats. And maybe we've talked about this before. Like this is what the being a jellicle cat is, right? It's like ascending to having a family and a comfortable home, and that's what all the strays dream of. And he made that happen. There was actually a couple of days before we officially decided, both of us, to adopt Marv, that he was kind of just coming in to the house and hanging out on the porch and just accepting food from us and then leaving. And we were like, this ain't our cat. This is just a cat we're taking care of. But he convinced us to take him in, and he knows the process of going from stray cat to house cat. And he's living the dream. He's in the land of milk and honey. He's made it to America. And he doesn't want to share that shit with any other of these motherfucking stray loser cats with their diseases. Sorry, we have to cut that. But you know who I'm making fun of with that.
He's not good. It's not the land of milk and honey. It's the land of masala sauce. And what else are you cooking over there?
I can make a damn fine butter chicken at this point.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to share the resources.
Yeah, it makes sense. Lily really just doesn't have that instinct in her. She just, when she sees a cat, she kind of gets a little scared and kind of weirded out, but doesn't have that like defending my property sort of thing.
Moch does, which is a shock. She still has it in her. Like I said, there's this building cat Stockings will show up on the porch every now and then.
And you guys adopted Stockings, right?
But not yet.
Yeah, we needed to find out the update from that from last week.
So the update is a lot of the same. We definitely didn't record this podcast.
And the building owner came back to life?
She's doing fine.
That's a relief to hear, honestly.
Oh, that was a bummer. Though, Mochi will freak out. She sees like an outdoor cat, and I never really associated it with defending her property so much as just like, what the fuck is it? Like, I don't know if she's ever seen another cat. I think it is just sort of like, ah! And there's just like the arched back, full hiss. It's kind of freaky. Mochi is not that type of cat. Really freaks out.
Yeah, I mean, the eyes go black. He's like so pissed off.
And then like when we go and you scare the other cat away, and then you got to like calm Moch down, and it's kind of a shock. You're like, I don't know if you could handle too many of these.
Yeah,
Lily's just not like that. Is Greg or Holiday?
We have a back window over there that we'll go smoke our weed out there, right? A little back window, and it's got a staircase right by the window that goes up to it's the upstairs back door to the apartment upstairs. And there's a couple neighborhood cats that pop their heads over there and pop their heads right into our window. And I've put Greg and Holiday both over there, and they just kind of sniff each other through the window. They seem super curious about each other. And I don't know. Every now and again, either Greg or the other cat will kind of hiss and go away. But it never really seems like a big thing. It never escalates that big.
It's like when you were a kid, and like you had to play with the kid next door because he's just like. by proximity, your best friend, But like that kid eventually steals your G.I. Joe or something, and then you want to hiss at him and go back home. Like it makes sense.
Well, I think if we brought another cat in here, I think it would kind of just be more of the same dynamic it is right now. I think Holiday would still just sleep and want to be left alone, and as long as she gets her food, she'd be fine. And I think Greg would want to play, and if the cat didn't want to play, he'd kind of tackle it every now and again. And if the cat wanted to play and be friendly, I think they'd be buds. I totally.
But then
think
you'd have to
could.
get a third litter box. I don't think you can handle that.
All right.
I don't want another litter
Well,
box.
but this happened to you. Like you had to introduce your cats to each other at one point, and how did that go?
Well, I actually have a bunch of videos from when I first started coming over, because I got Greg when me and Deirdre were dating, and I would bring Greg over here all the time when we were dating, because I'd stay here for a couple days. She has a bigger apartment than I had.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and we were living together in sin, baby, before all this.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah. No, their dynamic's been pretty much the same the whole time. Greg's, like, right off the bat, Greg is curious and wants to sniff, and then Holiday will hiss, and then some time will go by, and Greg stalks. He'll stalk her,
So he's a creep.
Greg's a little bit of a creep with her, yeah. He just really wants to. I feel bad for him. The dude's a cat, and he sees another cat, and he wants to be buds.
Can I play devil's advocate? And the devil in this situation is Holiday.
Sure.
Imagine,
White devil.
Imagine if you were living in an apartment by yourself. You're enjoying your time. Maybe you have a cool roommate or something like that, and then your landlord comes over and just drops another dude off, and he's like, "This is your new friend.
Here's the thing:
you guys live together now."
I'm paying rent in that situation. None of these fuckers are paying any rent.
Can I paint you another picture? You're
Paints
just
the literal picture.
yeah. Check out the clip. You're just minding your own business. You're just some solo kid with a solo dad, and I don't know, you're horny as hell. And then I don't know, your dad meets a lady, and then all of a sudden they end up getting married, and then you guys move in, and it turns out there's a stepsister in the picture.
Oh yeah.
Now Greg, who's been by himself, horny as hell, has this minx show up.
Yeah.
But the minx is like, "You're my brother.
Yeah.
Like, stay away from me." And Greg's like, "We're not brothers. You know how it is. Come on.
There's a whole.
Come on.
Pornhub wouldn't exist if it wasn't for this.
Come on. I mean, I feel as though we have to take that into consideration when we look at these two. There's a lot of dynamics going on, especially with cats.
Hotter than expected dynamics.
Well, listen, I feel like if we ever get our cats in the same room together, this is going to be a real odd situation.
I would love to do it.
It may have to happen one day, but I'm looking over at Danny.
I can't guarantee the safety of your
I
cats.
am I feel like
I'm
Greg would be
scared.
interested, but I am worried that Marv would just Wolverine everyone's fucking faces.
I don't even know what he would do, because this might be a different situation. He's in a different house, so it's not.
Depends
he's
on
not
where we are,
protecting
yeah.
his area. And then these aren't these are other house cats. Maybe cats kind of understand that the other cats around them are stray or not stray, and so he's like, "Oh, these are other people's cats. I don't have to deal. They have another human smell on them." So those guys are not a threat.
I think it's going to be a bloodbath.
It very much could.
What if
well,
Mochi just killed everybody?
Mochi also sounds like she could throw hands.
Mochi's got some. She got the dog in her.
Dog in her.
Got that dog.
Well, that was This Week in Cat. We have a topic we are going to talk about today, like we normally do. And this topic is cat anatomy.
We're talking about cats from tip to tail.
Tip to tail.
Everything you want to know about the cat body. I'm talking everything.
From tongue to bung.
Who's the one who's provided this wonderful diagram that we're all looking at here?
I and the internet have partnered up to put these.
You collabed with the internet?
It's a collab. It's a Danny X internet.
I thought the best starting point would be to just view these diagrams of a cat. We have two. One is sort of an external. It gives you all of the outer parts of the cat that you're familiar with: the eye, the ear.
I'm
so
definitely
forth.
more familiar
Heard
with
of
the
it.
outer parts.
And then just an inside view of the cat's anatomy, which, as far as the organs go, it's not that much different than a human. They just kind of are they're interestingly aligned. You know how like we're more vertical, cats are horizontal. Everywhere that things would be stacked up in us, cats go right to left.
That's so fucked up that this cat, like the one where you could see the organs, it just looks like a wonderful salad.
Yeah, there's just a kind of a salad going on in there.
Like an antipasto.
There's a couple little chunks.
Did I say that right?
No, but that's okay.
And I like how tiny his brain is in the little anatomy of a cat.
It is a teeny tiny brain, and it looks like it's sitting on the top of a male man's penis.
It's actually his spine.
Oh, excuse me. Well, we know that the male penis is the backbone of society.
It is the backbone of us, PuzzyBoyz. And cats actually have 3 fewer vertebrae than we do.
And that's why they can suck their own dick.
Right.
Hell yeah.
And so it's basically like, it does help them be more flexible.
Okay.
A lot of these parts of the cat are because they need to be flexible.
Now, is it okay that we start with the outside of a cat?
Let's start with the obvious stuff, I think. And is there anything that jumps out? Obviously, your audience members out there, your more informed cat lovers will know about things like the belly and the forelegs and the chin. But there are a few spots on this cat diagram that I felt like maybe you guys weren't totally familiar with.
What would be a Schauolder?
A what now?
I'm seeing Schauolder.
Okay, I think I know what's going on. Here.
What's happening?
Nick can't read.
Oh, so my bad. My bad.
I was waiting for the bit, and then I realized it's not a bit.
I was actually waiting for a yes and, but
I'm so
I know, I'll
sorry.
be
I
waiting.
think we just did that.
You gotta know, but
Be wait-
and speaking of this cat's butt, what really strikes me is what's a stifle?
A stifle
Or a
is...
stifle?
Yeah, a stifle is what I think is the knee area of the cat. It's
Ah,
not the
great.
knee, but it's that rounded
So
part.
this is the stifle
Yes,
right there.
the stifle is the rounded part where our knee would be that's just kind of like above the cat's paw when it's hunched over. That's the stifle.
Stifle.
I don't know who named it. I don't know why it is named that.
Okay, and what's a croup?
Croup is, so in the diagram, you can see it's basically not the tip of the tail, but the
looks
top
like-
of the tail bone area.
The kind of area where you scratch and their
When
tail goes up.
When you want to scratch a cat's butt, it's not its butt, it's its croup.
I one time was
Sad.
snowboarding in high school
I
and
feel
landed on
fucking
my
true.
croup.
Yeah, we've all broken our croups. And in fact, if you break your tailbone as a human, this is just off topic, but if you break your tailbone, there's no medical thing that they can do for you. You just have to wait it out.
They just put you down like a horse who broke his leg.
I mean, the pain is excruciating, so you might choose that option, but it will heal on its own.
They'll give you a little funny pillow to sit on for like 6 months.
You get a donut.
Did we hit stop?
The stop is the part above the nose, and between the eyes. So another place that if your cat likes little strokings between the eyes or on the forehead, you go a little bit lower, like upper nose, that's the stop.
That's what's fun about petting cats sometimes is they have these tiny little cheeks or the part between their stop.
The stop is one of my favorite parts because the hair is very fine.
It is, yeah.
It's short, and it's just really cute.
It's got its own little ecosystem thing going on. It's not quite the skin of the nose, and it's not quite the furriness of the forehead.
Now, their bellies are weird, right? Can we talk about how cat bellies are very weird?
I have a great fact about cat bellies. So we know, I think we all know on our own cats, that saggy part of the belly.
Oh yeah.
And I was under the impression that it was because my cat had given birth to a bunch of cats and they ripped all the babies out. And so she's just got this saggy skin. What's going on with
There's
that?
a lot of preconceived notions about what this flappy piece of skin is. Sometimes, you might think, oh, your cat was fat and then it lost a bunch of weight at fat camp. Or maybe it is fat, and that's where you're like, oh, Marv, you're getting a little thick in the belly, and then you smack it around.
Your cat's
No.
a big fucking slut.
Yeah.
They remind me of my grandmother's arms.
Yes, and that's exactly they're the bat wings of the cat's underside. But
I like
actually,
to call them bingo wings. That's really what they're called.
But actually, this saggy belly is a natural part of a cat that exists no matter how fat or slutty your cat may be. It's called the primordial pouch. Every single cat has this pouch. It's a fat reserve that cats keep in case they run out of food. And it also helps with flexibility. So it's that little extra bit of skin there makes it so that your cat can do the crazy contortions that it does without tightening too much in the belly skin.
I like
It
that.
ain't a gut, honey. It's a primordial pouch.
And also, I like how it takes the pressure off you having to feed it every day. Because if you forget, that's what it's there for.
As long as you
Dig into the pouch.
As long as, I mean, the pouch is a little savings for lean times, and we've all been through it where we
What
haven't
an
been able
interesting
to.
thing that clearly was like evolved over time. The cats who had the pouch survived.
And they
I
all
call it a flupa, a fat lower pussy area.
A feline lower pussy area.
yeah, and so cats start getting them at 6 months, so it's it's a pretty natural process
Part of
to
cat
grow
puberty.
one. Like kittens don't have them. But actually, all big cats also have them. So next time you check out a nature documentary, take a look underneath these lions.
Next time you're at a zoo, make sure you kneel down to a
Yeah.
6-year-old child
Get
and be like,
underneath-
"That's the primordial pouch."
or get in the cage, get underneath the lion or the tiger, and start smacking its little pouch around.
We can all agree if it's got a primordial pouch, it's okay to say ouch.
I think we can all agree to
I
that.
think we can all agree that old rule.
I mean, I think that's the most interesting fact about a cat's belly. It's the only one I wrote down. But were you thinking of anything in particular about a cat belly?
Just that saggy and funny.
Yeah,
Well, now there's a name for it.
yeah. Now it's not funny. Now
Well,
it's science.
I'm a little confused on this external graph chart of the parts of a cat. There's no pointing. There's no nipples.
Right. And I went to all that Wikipedia had to offer, and there was no mention of cat nipples. And we've discussed them on this show.
Yeah. And I've researched it afterwards, and there's not a set amount of nipples for cats. They usually have like between. It was like I think what I
It's
found.
like Mark Wahlberg over here.
It was like between 4 and 9 or something. It was an odd number, which I found funny.
You know about Mark Wahlberg, right?
Oh yeah, I skipped over that. I don't know the Mark Wahlberg.
He's
nipple
got
thing.
extra nipples.
Yeah.
How many?
I think he's
Between
got-
4 and 9.
He's
Wow.
He definitely has two extra.
A lot of people think they're abs.
Have you gone underneath the hood and found out how many nipples your cats have?
I
No.
haven't. And I think that's an interesting. I definitely feel them every now and then. And I go, oh
Yeah,
god.
it's never
Yeah.
fun for me.
But I haven't gone through to see how many there are.
I think Marv's on the lower side for sure because I don't come across them that much. I don't feel. I maybe
If
see
he's
like
got
the bottom
one, it's
two.
a penis.
Yeah, well,
true.
he's unsheathed that bugger without any prompting whatsoever from me.
All right. Well, it does seem like it's almost the rest is kind of self-explanatory
Yeah,
here.
it's
Fur,
slim pickings on the outside
I
of the
add-
cat.
and-
elbow.
Yeah.
Heard of that.
Whiskers
Tails.
do what whiskers do.
I have a great fact about whiskers as well. So, feline whiskers can communicate details because they have nerve endings at the tips of their whiskers, and they identify and analyze everything that a cat touches.
This is female.
These are all cats.
Okay,
Their
I'm sorry.
whiskers are basically like little fingers, right?
Yeah.
So they feel touch the same way that fingers would. And a whisker, the whisker size and the length of a whisker is actually a determining factor for how easily a cat can get through something. It tells them that you're too fat to get through this small space because your whisker length is like that's your
I have
maximum.
read that too, but what's
Will the whiskers grow based on the sturdiness of the butt? Like if the cat gets thicker, are the whiskers getting longer?
So what I've read about this is they do to a point. If your cat gets like super fat, then the whiskers don't just keep going, which is hilarious.
but
'cause
they will
cats-
adjust a little bit.
They will adjust a little bit, yes. If your
Yeah.
cat gets a little wider, the whiskers will get a little wider. It's
yeah.
funny because if it's to a point where they're trying to fit through, I don't know, things between a fence or whatever, and they're used to being able to do it, and their whiskers tell them they can. If they continue to gain weight past a point, they'll still think they can get through
and
it,
they
but
just
they
get
can't.
stuck in all these things.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
fat
cute.
cats get stuck a lot if you look through
History.
YouTube. Yeah.
So don't let your cats get too big.
I mean, if you're such a fat cat that you've outfatted your own whiskers, then I feel like you're not even interested in going anywhere. You just will allow your owner to continue feeding you on your little cat bed all day.
So, do the whiskers send any other sort of signals to the cat? Like, can they sense danger or something with their whiskers?
I mean,
Or
Get
It's
radio
like-
stations.
It's like the sense of touch is there, and so it's like, you know, whatever you feel. Maybe there's like some extra sensory stuff going on that cats have that we don't know, but the cats use their whiskers for, like, you know, I feel something close by, or I feel like something is brushed up against my
Nick
whiskers.
is wet.
Yeah, like things are wet. Things are
just get out of the shower.
You know,
cat.
everything that touches its whiskers, it can feel.
It's so different too with dogs, and I'm sure dogs' whiskers have some function, but if you cut a cat's whiskers, you fuck up that cat. If you cut, like when we take my dog to the groomer, and he gets the puppy cut. Like last time, there was one time where he came back and I was like, they just like fucking cut his whiskers. Like they cut all the whiskers on his face, and he didn't seem bothered at all. And I was freaking out, so I went and Googled it and everything. Groomer doing that to a dog's whiskers is fine and normal. But yeah, if you cut your cat's whiskers, you're messing up your cat.
Do they grow back?
They do,
do.
because Marv actually will drop a whisker now and again.
I love finding a whisker.
Yeah.
I feel like
think
that's
it's
good luck.
Yes, I was going to say
Yeah.
that exactly. Yeah, it is.
And it fits right in your pee hole.
Wow, maybe yours.
Yikes.
I'm pretty tight.
I don't know what it is that
Okay,
causes.
rag butt.
Wow.
I don't know what causes whiskers to fall off, though. I mean, like, is there anything that you're doing wrong, or is it just like, you know, a baby tooth?
Yeah, I
but
wonder
like,
if they just have like a natural shelf life.
yeah, they just kind of
I've
need
never
new
found a
ones.
whisker.
Really?
You got a young
Oh.
cat. You got
Yeah,
a really
your-
young cat.
Your cat,
but
you have a lot to experience.
I
yet.
found whisker. I mean, out of all the many cats I've had that you guys think I'm slutty for having is I've always found whiskers on the ground or on, you know, a blanket or whatever. I think it's so cool. And they're like fun to play with. They're almost like fun to play with, like you'd play
really
with your
nice.
like thumbnail if you bit it off or something.
Yeah,
And
it's not just like a hair. There's like
Yeah.
there's like some dexterity to
Oh,
it.
it's
There's
They're
like
some,
bendy, and you
Yeah.
can kind of crimp, like you can like bend it in half to a point where
Reminds
it's
me of like
They're-
those things you'd get at a fair. Those like fiber optic little toys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're
it's
hard a little bit.
it's
or
like-
they're, you know, they've
it's
got some
like-
feel.
the halfway point between a hair and like a porcupine quill or
Right.
something.
Yeah, and you know, they are like a little stabby. I don't know if you've
They're
ever like,
stabby.
you know, sometimes if you pet your cat the wrong way or he brushes up against you the wrong way, you can get like spiked by his little whiskers.
I'm always very protective over Lily's whiskers. I never want. Anytime I brush up against them, I'm like, oh, sorry. You know?
See,
She's
I
trying to feel you, man.
I got mustache wax. I put on Greg's and I try to twist them all together.
You're trying to
But
give
it's
them
only
a-
because Greg's super into like steampunk stuff.
Oh yeah.
You could twist him up into like a Dr. Robotnik or something. That would be a great look for a cat.
No,
I
that
think it's
wouldn't-
illegal to do that.
But would that hurt a cat?
Yeah,
That would hurt a
probably,
cat.
yeah.
Yeah, I
that's what
wouldn't
I'm
really do that.
Let's not
do
Anything
this
I,
abuse.
anything I say I would do on this, I just want you to know if you think it sounds bad, I absolutely would not.
Yeah,
do
and
it.
all these facts are complete lies. I've been making them up since we started
For
the pod.
years.
Yeah, we should give you just a heads up. Everything we've said on this podcast is absolute bullshit.
Oh yeah, we're not doctors nor vets.
What's how many paws do cats have? Like if you were trying to draw a cat paw. How many-
Oh, 4.
There's
yeah.
4?
Well, and the middle pad, but yeah, they have 4.
4 around the
4. Because the paw is the whole thing.
The paw's the
but
whole
like,
thing.
what do you call the
Now,
paw people? Like
there's
the,
like
the beans.
a
The
certain
beans.
amount of cats that have like thumbs, right? Isn't there like? Haven't you seen
Yeah,
it?
there
Cats
is
that
a
have
thing.
extra toes.
Oh,
yeah.
that extra thing is weird.
That
yeah,
thing is
what is
not
that?
a paw. It's the same thing, but it's up the arm a
Yeah.
little ways. Yeah.
And it has a claw on it too.
Yeah, that thing has its own little claw. But
I think we
it's-
got to look up what that thing is.
What is that
Is
thing?
that dormant?
I will say that this is
It's like an appendix.
your research was wonderful, but I think this is an important thing to figure out.
We've all noticed that
Nobody
thing.
knows what that thing is.
Yeah, what is that thing? God damn it!
It's not unlike Mark Wahlberg's extra nipple.
It's a primordial thumb.
Okay. Found it immediately. It's called.
Thank God.
It's the little claw on the back of a cat's leg. It is called a dew claw. It's similar to a thumb because the function of it is that it doesn't touch the ground when a cat walks. It's its own little independent, like how you got your 4 fingers, but you got the real.
Yeah, I'm watching this
VIP.
dude right here. They got whiskers coming off of those things too. It's so weird how they have whiskers on other parts of their bodies.
And it's basically just there for grooming and helping it a little bit grasp objects, but it's like not incredibly functional.
It's probably like at some point they needed that shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they just don't need it anymore, and it's kind of recessed.
That's
Yeah.
like Adam with his penis. I'm glad to be back.
It's funny that I just laughed and then I laughed at first and then I was like, I'm Adam.
The outside of a cat, very interesting, but let me tell you, don't hold a candle to the inside of a cat, folks.
What's going on in there? Meow.
And this delicious...
I'm not seeing anything on the inside that we don't have.
I know. I mean, that's the thing is like,
Other than it's obviously in different places.
and that's the thing is like, you really just have
I
to
no longer have a
picture-
gallbladder, but that's because I'm 68.
I don't have a spleen. Or no, I do have a spleen. I don't have an appendix, but my spleen is a little larger than normal. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I'm blown away that if this is to scale, their bladder is literally bigger than their brain.
Yeah, I mean, it is, I think. It's basically like, they have all of the same organs that we do in the same amounts. They have two
And so
lungs.
I
and
came
two
with a tiny
kidneys.
little bit of information for this episode, which I will get into more details later. But the reason why their anatomy looks so similar. Well, one of the uses for cats, because their anatomy is so similar to ours, is that they are frequently used in dissections in education. For like high schools, still do it, but also in like medical schools, they'll dissect cats regularly. Because they're similar to the human body in a lot of ways.
Well, why not just dissect a human then?
We do.
Yeah, they do that too.
I did in high school. I actually went.
What?
I didn't dissect the human myself, but I went to like this satellite Cleveland Clinic place that was in Kansas City, and got to see some open people, and it was pretty cool. And I got a picture of me holding a person's brain,
Okay, well, that's
and it was an
pod.
old lady.
I went and saw that exhibit, like bodies.
Oh yeah,
when
freaky.
I was like 13 or something like that, and I was weirded out by it.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
know
like
what?
it. Made me feel weird.
I think it made everybody feel a little weird.
Especially after I think it came out that they were like
Chinese prisoners.
prisoners. I was
Yeah.
going to say it was Chinese
Oh,
prisoners.
I
Yeah.
went after that. We found that out.
I just
It's a
went
school
to
trip.
I just went to a prison.
You just went to prison because you're a pervert.
That's pervert PURR because I love cats.
That's right.
Okay.
I do have
A little
some,
too much.
Welcome
Not
to,
too
welcome to
much,
pervert.
according to the state of Georgia.
Oh my God. Edit that out. I don't want my fans to know.
It stays in or I walk. But we do have some fun. We do have some fun facts, at least about the internal part of a cat, that I could throw out to you
Let's go.
perverts. For instance, just some general stuff. The cat's body temperature. I don't know if you guys knew this, but cat's body temperature, unlike ours, ranges from 101 to 102.2 Fahrenheit. So that is a good, healthy couple of degrees higher than what we're walking around
It's a
with.
bit hot. It's
Yeah.
a bit hot.
And that's why cats, I think, are so cozy when they lay on you.
Yeah.
They're a little warm.
Oh
They're
yeah.
a little warm.
Yeah. I think they have a warmer body temp.
But they can also tolerate heat more than we can. A cat's skin can actually take up to 126 degrees Fahrenheit without even feeling uncomfortable.
So if their bodies run hotter than humans, are they like when we're chilly? They're not chilly.
I think that when we're chilly,
They're
they're
more
more chilly because,
Oh, because
they're
their
used to being
standard
warm.
is
yeah.
hot. Oh,
They
interesting. Okay.
can tolerate warmer temperatures and they're used to warmer temperatures. So when you
Meh.
bring that temperature down, it affects them more.
which is counterintuitive because they're made out of fur.
the fur helps to get their body temperature up to the 102 to
I'm
10,
going to leave the heat
10
on tonight
that
for
range.
Moch.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is sweet. And You should probably do that. Otherwise, it's abuse. You're abusing
really
Mochi by
cold.
not turning the heat up.
Well, you guys have that heater in your bedroom, and you guys shut the door and just make sure it's really cold outside.
And then we go, it's so nice in here.
Well, we talked about this on a long ago episode, but about how you guys, when you guys would leave for trips and I would come over to take care of your cats, you would have the AC on all summer long. And these facts have sort of, and I do the same thing with Marv. I turn the AC on for him when it's really hot in California,
I
but
don't even need it.
these facts are kind of making me question whether or not that's a good thing.
You're
I don't
just
think
freezing.
you don't need it that cold.
Yeah, I think he'll try to find a warm spot in the house to be on anyway because he wants to be warm.
I'm gonna start cranking the heat up to 120 when we leave.
It wouldn't kill him. Wouldn't kill either of them. It would kill your dog probably.
Well, we take the dog with us.
Oh, great. Well, then then bake the shit out of your cats. And the smell in here, oh my God, like warm bread.
It's gonna come back to melted everything.
Another internal cat fact about the cat's heart. Cat's heartbeat. What do you guys think the cat's BPMs are, roughly?
It's high, right?
It's pretty high.
gotta be
If you've
higher than
ever
ours.
pressed your ear against your cat's chest and listened to its heartbeat, it's pretty, it's wild stuff.
What's a human's heartbeat?
So a human's heartbeat
should
is,
be?
resting should be 70 to 80.
I think 120 beats per minute.
What do you guys think?
121, Drew.
122.
Adam gets it. 150 to
I want to
180.
say that I've been on Price is Right. I got to go to the row, and I got outbid by $1, and that person won a car.
Yeah, that's
Oh
as
my
painful as
God.
life gets. I always think about like the people who go on Wheel of Fortune, and it's not even that they're not good or can't solve the puzzle. They just get fucked by the wheel.
We got to do a game that's guessing cat toys or cat food, and the price is right. You know, we can
I
do it.
love
We can
it.
do it. That's coming up on an episode, guys.
Basically, anything with a PR sound in it, guess what? We're making something out of it.
Yep.
It's 150 to 180, so
Oh, wow.
more than double what we're working with on an resting situation. And then more so, obviously, when they're running around being cats.
I have a phobia of feeling my own heartbeat.
Yeah, well, it's called a palpitation. You're not supposed to have those all the time.
Oh, no,
I have them.
not like feeling it in my chest, but like if I like have my thumb on
You
my.
don't want to be aware.
I don't
you don't
want
wanna
to
be aware. Of it.
I don't want to be aware of it.
Yeah,
It
well,
Oh my
seems
God.
to connect to a bigger thing.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a fear of mortality that could.
Okay, no, I just don't like the dump. It makes me feel weird.
Well, because
Yes, of course, of course.
I feel worried too because when I hear the da-dump, you always wonder if just one time it's gonna be like da-dump,
Yeah.
and then it's gone.
I
And then
just
you're
don't
like,
wanna-
oh, I'm dead.
You ever can sometimes hear it like when you're laying on a pillow in a weird way?
it's the
You can,
worst.
like,
Yeah.
I hate that.
Good. I'm glad everyone
It's
else has
the-
experienced
Yeah, that's
this.
a weird one.
The feeling in my when you can feel the heartbeat in your eye. That's my worst. That's the
Oh,
worst
so that's
thing.
like a twitch, though, right? You
I
think
Well,
think
it's
that's
part-
more
it's
of a
because of the
twitch. I
heartbeat.
get that when I drink too much coffee.
Yeah, I
Part
get
of
them
it.
in my hands.
I get a little twitch on my eyelid right here.
the Java
I can
makes you
feel
twitchy.
Yep.
I wanna just. I love the research that you put together, Danny, and there's one that I really want to shout out.
Yeah.
Which is in the cat's ears. First of all, cats have 15 muscles in their ear that help them turn.
In each ear.
In each ear.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, it'd be weird if they just had
oh,
seven and a half.
it makes sense because cats
per
can
ear.
move their ears in different directions.
In every direction.
It
yeah.
helps them hear predators and prey better.
So you see when your cat is like, when you're talking, it points its ear, kind of like a satellite kind of turns
Yeah. It's
toward
really
you
cool.
to pick it up.
But the thing that I really love is the little pouch
Mm-hmm.
of folded skin on the lower part of your cat's outer ear is called Henry's pocket.
Do you guys know what we're talking about?
I know exactly what you're
It's
talking
like the
about.
little ear flap, the little
Yeah.
lobe kind of thing. You wonder what it is or what it does. Scientists don't even know, but it's called Henry's pocket.
Why?
I think there was a guy named Henry who was like,
we got to
He's
find
like,
out
I could
who
put
Henry
a pill
is.
in there and save it for later.
he's Jewish?
Hey,
Oh, he's
No,
a
he was
guy.
an Italian
Oh, God,
man.
I misread that. It's Henry's pussy pocket.
Henry's pocket pussy.
Oh,
Henry's
boy.
pocket
Can I say that
pussy.
again?
Yeah, we
Henry's
just-
pocket pussy.
No, look, we can see it right there. It's that
Yeah.
little thing right there.
Oh, Holiday does not
know,
like you
right?
touching her Henry's pocket.
No, I gave her a wet willy in the Henry's pocket.
I love that like a scientist named like Henry Jurgensen or something came up with this, and they were
Just
like,
use my first name.
"Do you want to call? Yeah, you want to call this the Jurgensen lobe?" Or like, no, I have a better idea for it.
Henry's pocket.
I think it's
Oy
gonna
vey.
be it's gonna be Henry's pocket. Are we all okay with this? All right, move on.
I like to think it was a cat who put stuff in there.
He's like, yeah.
A cat named Henry.
I used to keep a little bit of catnip in there right here, and they
You
never
always-
know.
and
they
you never run out.
know.
You
They-
never run out.
They think it's like it helps a little bit more with hearing, but honestly, like nobody knows, I guess, according to the research. So, it's just a fun little thing that you could research it all your life and you'd never find out.
Seems
And
like there's a
cats
lot of
can't
that
tell you.
with cats.
Yeah, well,
Could you
there's a lot
pierce
of
it? Could you get a little earring on the pocket?
You could. I'm sure it would be incredibly painful for the cat.
I don't want them
and
to
they
feel
wouldn't
any pain.
understand why you're doing it.
That's why I'd use an ice cube and a needle so it would numb it.
This
Right.
is something that struck me as interesting is the cat's tail contains 10% of its bones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
guess
part
I
of the
thought
vertebrae.
it was like
A big cartilage
or
stick?
something. Yeah, I don't really know.
Now I mean, how do you think it does all the
How
shit
like a
that it
penis
does?
is in bones.
I guess that But a
Can you-
penis,
can
you
your penis-
break your penis.
Well, can your penis make like a hook shape? No.
Well, Adam's can. I'm so sorry.
Our noses also make a hook shape
Hey,
because of our
easy.
bones. Well, you started it.
I didn't do anything.
You know what you did.
With
I
all the
did
stuff
nothing.
going on, Danny, come on, man.
I did know
Me?
it was bones because I assumed it was the same as dogs. And when I was a kid, my grandfather closed my. I had a dog. Closed my dog's tail in the door. The car door by mistake, and they had to take off like half the dog's. Dog was fine. Lived an amazing life. My grandfather loved the dog. There was no abuse here whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But had to remove half that tail, and it was that's when I learned that a tail was bone. I remember asking my aunt explained to me because I was like, "How does it move?" And it's like your finger.
Also, Zach, I mean, in the South, I'm sure, and I've loved this food, so I'm not even disparaging you, but you've had to have had oxtail before.
You know what? I have had oxtail, but not until kind of recently, and I still don't fully like. I think I understand it that like a cow would have like a big bone that would like move
It's vertebrae
the rest of it.
bones. That's what
It
they
all
look
makes
like
sense,
in the pot.
and honestly, it tastes really good.
It's great. And, come over to my house one time. I'll make you an oxtail like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, Mom.
Bourguignon. I also have some beef cheek in the house. We don't have to talk about that.
Well, let's talk about
Man, if
our
we
next
had-
piece of cat here,
we
which
had
is
that-
beef cheek, actually. So
We do have tongue. There is a tongue fact.
Yeah, we've kind of chatted about tongues a little bit because they're very weird, and I think we talk about it in the grooming app a little bit. But Danny, I think you covered the ground here. Let's go for it.
Yeah, well, I think everybody researching cats or just loving cats, they know the whole like cats have these little tiny hooks on their tongues that are kind of like that help them groom themselves and whatever. Those little small spines, they're called papillae. Papillae. And they are actually made out of keratin, which is the same thing that our human fingernails are made of.
That's mind blowing.
that's crazy.
It's kind of nuts.
I got nothing else to say about it.
I mean, doesn't that scare you? Kind of, like when I read it, I was like, I don't know, my mind just went to the place where it was like, you look closely at their tongue and it's just a bunch of fingers, like a bunch of scary witch fingers all over their tongue.
Yeah, they're freaky as hell. The zoom ins.
Yeah, when you zoom in
Yeah.
hard on those, it's like a nightmare on that thing, and it's not cute anymore.
It does feel cool though. I love a little sandpapery lick.
Well,
It
that's
is a
that.
cute-
Then you'll enjoy me scratching you.
And
on
I've
a
heard-
chalkboard.
Yeah, but I've heard. I think if it's like a tiger or a big cat that does that, it'll like rip skin off.
Yeah, the
That kinda
big ones.
checks out.
Yeah, and I mean, there's all kinds.
'Cause-
Yeah, there's those things are used also to help them digest the food to break down food.
Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
tigers ones have to be like razor sharp.
Danny, how do cats see in the dark?
Zach, that's such an easy question to answer because they have a yellow layer at the back of their eye that reflects light. So you see the cat's eye in the dark, and it has that sort of
The shine,
that shiny
it's like,
color.
"Ah!"
That's the very back of the eye, taking in the light and shooting it out. So they get more of it than we do. So they can get light, like they can gather it up and use it more.
And that's why
Effectively.
so that's why their eyes shine.
Yes.
You're like seeing the reflection.
Of this part of the back,
back
of their
of the
eye.
eye.
Yeah.
I love that extra weird eye layer that they have.
Yeah.
Man,
It's
that's
so
crazy.
fucking
So,
cool.
so cats have 3 eyelids.
They have a third eyelid.
So
yeah.
where? What? Well, how?
Huh?
What? Well, how is this?
It's
how
just
could
like
this
under
be?
the other eyelid.
Does it go side? It goes like sideways, right?
It's like inside the
Like a
it's not no,
lizard?
that's
Yeah,
that's
isn't it?
that's reptiles.
Isn't it though?
I don't
I
think
thought that's
so.
what it was like.
Nah, pick
No,
up
it's
your cat,
just
look at
under it's just more help to clear out stuff from the eye or to protect the cat's eye because cat's eyes are more important than ours.
So it's
That
like
checks out.
under the eyeball. This
It's
one?
it's like another
under the
it's,
eyelid.
yeah, it's under
extra
the
lid.
first
Right.
eyelid. Yeah.
Do we ever see them close just that and not the other ones?
I haven't.
If you've ever like, if your cat has his eyes closed and you kind of like make like you kind of pull their eye open, you see the other layer. Have you never noticed that
I
before?
would never mess
Yeah,
with
you can-
Lily
if you-
sleep like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen it on Marv, but
I have 1,000% seen it on Greg. I look at it every day.
Well, dig it. Let's see it. Let's dig it out for us.
His eyes have to be closed to do it.
Yeah, you got to make it. Oh, Holiday's not gonna like this. She's already pissed.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get a residual claw from this.
She's not.
Holiday. I'm sorry, I didn't do this to you.
Yeah, that was all Adam.
Sorry, she's not gonna. We're not gonna be able to see it on her.
Sorry, Holiday.
Incredible research, Danny. I feel like I'm blown away by the eyeballs of cats.
And it's just cats, just the knowledge that we don't know, bountiful. So you're doing God's work.
And
here,
they also, eye-wise, I didn't write this down, but I remembered it, that they have 95% rods and 5% cones. I forget what that does. It just helps them see better, process the better light.
If you want to know what that
see.
means, that's a different podcast.
Yeah. Just know that when you're looking in a cat's eyes, that's mostly rods.
My high school was 95% rods, 5% Dave's, and one Jim. Okay.
You also got paws here, which I'm looking at now, and it's funny because, of course, they're little. I've never liked the term toe beans. I don't know why. It's just not a thing.
It's
I would
one of
say.
those, like, I think a Kathy cartoon started,
Yeah.
and now people like that like it.
But their little pads, I love. Their cat's little hands and feet are super cute and fun and soft, and they always do seem to they do seem to just kind of pull them away. Like, they don't love you messing with them, and it looks like in your research you found that they are packed full of nerve receptors.
Yeah, and which
they're
helps
super
them.
sensitive.
It helps them feeling vibrations in the ground. That helps them with hunting, and it helps them with balance also, how sensitive their paws are. The opposite side of that, of course, is if you touch them too much, it's like when somebody starts scraping at the head of your penis or something. It's like
I would have thought it would
really
just be,
uncomfortable
like,
feeling.
I imagine more like it was ticklish, like the bottom of your feet. But yeah, I could see how.
Oh, it's
it
more
could
than
also
It's
that.
be.
like a fingernail scratching on that tip.
Yeah,
And that sucks for me. I'm so tight.
yeah. I mean, you remember?
Brag much?
You ever had a situation where you finish but she's still sucking? It's like that, but on a cat's toe beans.
I'm telling you, Dan, stick to your age range, okay?
Dog, you ain't got Riz. I think we just got to accept it.
I've never had either of those two things happen.
Oh, it's sad. It's sad.
I rizzed my pants.
Let's move on. I assume we're going to be talking a lot about these things as this podcast go on. We're probably going to be doing a solo episode on each one of these parts of the cat anatomy, but we can't do everything today. We got to save some for later. But you know what we have to do right now is a bit. Which one of you guys wants to do your bit first?
I think let's do mine because it's kind of quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really disgusting. But basically, what I had been doing is researching the dissection industry. I've been researching the companies that supply the cats and frogs and dogs and feral and like fetal pigs is a common one to high schools and colleges across the country. PETA's trying to get this to obviously stop. Currently, about 20 states. You can opt out as a student, so you don't have to do it. But from what I can find, no states have banned any of these things, so they're doing it for the good of science, I guess. I don't really have a strong opinion. The real icky part of it is they don't know. Basically, when they get all of these, I just call them pets, but they're not pets. They get all of these animals from what they call Class B dealers. And it's a certain type of animal dealer that technically doesn't have to require, like, they don't need as much paperwork to show where the animals come from. And so
I don't like that.
it's a murky business where people are basically
a Class B dealer as a character, just like kind of a white suit, like a
full snakeskin suit.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a
just,
real Florida guy driving like a white van,
Right.
picking up dogs stuff. So basically, I mean, it's hard to tell what's like hyped up by the industry that's against the PETAs of the world, but it is a icky business.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can wrap my head around it being like medically necessary for people to practice this stuff and know how it goes.
We gotta have doctors.
You gotta have doctors. It seems a little overkill, but basically, there's this whole secondary business of what they think is animals raised intentionally for dissection. there are basically where these Class B dealers get their cats, which is a real bummer, which is from shelters that basically, when a cat has to get put down, which is like, maybe that's not the worst case scenario, but they think that the numbers are maybe don't support the sheer amount
It's
of
definitely
animals.
not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario would be something like, Greg, Greg.
Well, they
Come here,
also
buddy.
think that they suspect that the Class B dealers are getting a lot of these animals from just like ads where people are trying to get rid of old pets or things
I
like
see.
that. So it's a little shady. But what I wanted to do with you guys now is I want you to guess. I'm on Carolina.com. Carolina is the name of a company that provides all sorts of animals. They have a few dogs. They have cats. They have frogs. They have fetal pigs. But this is a cat podcast. I would like you guys to guess the going rate for one. So basically, what your science department would go on this website and you would order a cat, and it's soaked in formaldehyde, or they have a Carolina perfecting solution that they sell. So what?
Mine's
These are
soaked in
preserved
Chipotle sauce.
cats. These are preserved cats, and I want you to guess the going rate.
For just the cats in general, or are there
So,
different types?
You're ordering one cat, and there is a bit of a range, but it's not huge. So I think you can just
Like based on breed or hypoallergenic or behavior or age.
It's
I'm
just
gonna
what
go-
they got in stock.
I think I think it's based on injections is the price, and I think that might be how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Is what I guess. This is getting grosser by the minute.
It is disturbing.
So
and
I'm
weird,
gonna go
but
ahead
it's
and just
also-
go. I'm gonna just go plain. This is you order a plain preserved skinned cat, and I hate that I'm doing it, but it's the only bit I could think of.
We have to remind everybody, Zach was having fever dreams for the past 3.5
And
weeks.
I would argue that while I'm no longer contagious, I'm still like medically fucked up. And this is basically the thing that I thought was interesting.
And
I hate how, this could have been the price is right here because
I know we kind of threw out we did the game earlier with beats per minute. That doesn't make as much sense as this.
We'll go ahead and call this prices, right?
and you can be Bob Purr.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
so
you should really set that up better. That
Okay.
actually is a great.
All right, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
And so now I want to play a little game where you guys guess the price of these preserved cats. It's a little game I'm calling The Price is Right.
Okay.
Danny, Adam, and Nick, come on down.
Da-da-da.
It's happening right.
All right. So, what is the price? What is the how's Drew Carey say it? What is the
I'm Drew Carey. Hey, everybody come over here. Let's fucking make some money.
All right, fellas. Let's all make some money. Let's all win a car, huh? What do you think about that? All right. So what we have here, show them what they got, Deirdre. They've got an 18-inch single injection, Carolina's Perfect Solution preserved skinned cat.
I'll throw out a first number. I'm gonna guess to sell to a school.
Just one cat?
One cat.
So this is per cat.
And is it if you buy 20 cats for a class? Does it go?
There is a discount
There's a discount,
price.
but okay, we're gonna say for one cat, I'm gonna throw out the price of $39.99. That's just a
Price is Right rules. Remember that.
Okay.
$40. $40 is my number.
I'm gonna say $5.
Wow.
Not really respecting the cats there, but I respect the angle.
I'm just
I mean,
thinking
if you're-
for a school, but how
You
much
can't go
money
over,
does a
and
school
I
have?
understand. You don't
Look,
wanna
if
go
you're
over.
handing this to me, I'm going to say $6. But in reality, I will give a real guess, and I will say $18 per cat.
The winner, and who's coming up onto the stage to play another weird, goofy cat skeleton game is Adam with the price of $107.
Wow. I mean, if that cat was alive, it would be about $100 less.
It's a little kind of
I
insane.
know.
I mean,
go get a cat for nothing.
You can go to Vietnam and buy a cat soup with an entire cat in it for $2.50.
All right,
That's
folks.
fucking insane.
That's an insane number. I was basing my number off remembering when I was in college, we had to dissect a sheep's cardboard box, and then you'd open the cardboard box and it would be like in a vacuum sealed thing with formaldehyde, and I want to say that was around like $60 or something, but it was a school bookstore, so prices are just crazy. I don't know. I just figured I don't know. I figured it couldn't be too crazy expensive, because how much does a school have to spend on this stuff, especially like a high school or something?
These companies are gouging our schools. That's been the case forever. I remember how much textbooks cost in fucking college.
Crazy
that
money.
Shit sucked.
Yeah.
It's just an industry that is unregulated and we can't do anything about
Adam,
it.
you've made it up on the big stage. I'm
right.
gonna give you one more little game for Per Rice is Right, and if
Okay.
you get this one, if you guess within $25, I'll say this.
You win the showdown.
You get to go and spin the big wheel.
Amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the thing that we hope happens in the future is that they're putting a little less real cats in this situation. We're moving into the VR setting,
Yeah.
and that is offered on the website. There's a VR cat dissection, and I shit you not, it's called Perfect Procedure. And it is a 1-year software.
Just call it procedure.
Procedure is pretty good. Look, that's not what they do for a
I
living.
know.
So
They
you could
cut
get-
open cats. Okay.
So you could give this thing to like serial killers and be like, here you go. Have
This is
fun
basically
with
what
your
the parts
Oculus.
are. Which also, I will say that they also have they had like a VR for human stuff. So what's a 1-year license for a classroom for a VR?
A 1-year
You
license
get a
for a
1-year
VR.
license for a classroom. So
I think this is going to be expensive. I mean, how much? I'm just like the editing software and shit I'm getting is I'm going to base this on what I pay. Premiere, what I use to edit, is $21 a month. I think it's $20 a month, something like that. Times 12 is what? 20 times 12 is 240. 240.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go $199. $200.
$205.
Wow.
You're going home with a brand new dissectable cat.
Wow.
I don't particularly. I'm not that thrilled that I'm so close.
No, this is good.
But,
I honestly
but
think
this is all
is
this is all interesting.
You made it make a lot of sense too. I
There's
mean,
a
you really
couple
found a way to
options.
personalize it.
I think there's a couple options, and I will wrap this up, which is hopefully the future of dissection. The reason they don't do dogs is because people associate dogs with pets.
Wow.
And it's so interesting that they don't connect the dot with cats. But as we know, cat ownership is on the rise. Maybe
Yeah.
so. This is to me, this feels a little icky right now.
Yeah.
But I also think like frogs don't feel icky to me. You got to do it. You got to learn a little bit.
I mean, dissecting anything like, to some degree in real life, having to do it for real, and then obviously the VR stuff is good. You got people are training to be vets. People need to
they need to
learn
do this
anatomy.
stuff.
I
They're gonna
totally
save more
understand the
cats than
purpose
you
for
Yeah,
it.
but I
will
wasn't
say-
training to be a vet in like the 9th
I think
grade
that's sort of
when
the
I
thought.
when before anybody even told me, I cut my frog open and cut the stomach open, and I grossed the kid out because there was a fly in the stomach,
But the point is,
which was so much fun.
And then you had to dissect the fly.
It's all I remember. It's all I remember from this process was like my frog had a fly in the stomach. Like,
Dude.
I couldn't put together a frog for you right
the
now.
point is to catch that one kid who's willing to go all the way with it.
and become a serial killer.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I remember we started with worms, and it was surprising how the organs of the worms were like recognizable and stuff. We did worms, crickets, and frogs. And I'll tell you, the thing I remember about all three of them were organs flying across the room because kids were like, "Why? How far can the fucking kidney go?" And I remember that way more than anything we actually learned from the dissection. I
think
will
that
tell you
tells
though,
that the VR version of this is probably okay.
I think so, too.
It's
Gotta
okay for the
work.
future.
I'll tell you, when I was in college and I was like in my last year of college and was studying neuroscience and stuff for a psychology major, when we were doing the sheep's brains, it made a whole lot more sense that we were doing it because we were heavily into a major that we had all chosen.
Yeah,
So,
see, I was in 9th grade and we did a fetal pig. And that
Yeah,
was
we did the fetal pig as
heavy
well. Yeah.
duty stuff.
We didn't do.
We had
I
to
mean,
open its eye up.
Well,
and there
because
was
the
like
fetal
a
pig,
hard thing inside.
the organs are pretty closely resemble
Yeah.
human organs.
Yeah.
And,
As do cats, apparently. Yikes.
we're not done yet, folks. We have one more bit before our final segment. Danny, you want to set it up?
Yeah. It's just basically, I wanted to just have the debate, since this is the time to do it when we're talking about cat anatomy. Let's make it a little less gross. Let's make it a lot less gross. How about that? Let's just debate, have it out right here on the podcast, decide once and for all what the Pussy Boys feel is the best part of a cat's body. And I open the floor to any opening arguments.
I mean, we're all thinking it. Cock.
All right. An opening salvo from Adam that we all saw coming.
I don't know if we've said cock yet on the
I
podcast.
haven't
We
seen
haven't
it
said
coming,
cock.
but we know that it does come.
Yeah, we do say dick.
I'm gonna say this is my dark horse pitch, because we all got excited when we learned what the stop was, which is
On the
the
nose.
fuzzy little spot on a kitty cat's nose, which has always been my favorite part of Moch because it's a little different color, and it's just nice. And if I can get a little tiny touch on it, I feel really special.
I got to stick with show Ulder. No. I think I like the stop. I really do like the stop because I've gazed at the stop. I've admired the stop. Never knew the name, so that's something I learned today. Something else I learned is that the butt is called the croup.
The top of the butt, yeah.
And that's I do like to scratch the top of the butt of Lily, and I think I'm gonna go with the croup. I think I'm gonna go with the croup just because, as I stated before, Lily's croup is a little wider than the average, and it may be
Yeah,
why
I
in
noticed
last
a little
episode we talked about why she can't lick her own asshole, and neither can
Real
I.
video vixen. Of a croup.
So I'm going with the croup. I'm going with the croup in honor of Lily's big booty, licious body.
Now, according to this diagram here, they're not giving the specific term for this part. It's kind of folding this whole area up and calling it the cheek.
Henry's pocket.
Henry's
Give
pocket's
it
a
to-
dark horse as well. But what I'm going to say specifically about that cheek area is the jowl. The upper lip kind of cheek area where the whiskers sit is the jowl. I think that's a great area of a cat. It's part of the smiley part. When Marv gives his little... they say that when it looks like a smile, they're actually not smiling. I don't buy that. It looks like a smile. I'm going to take it as a smile. And it's just like the cutest part. So it got the whiskers on it, but it's also got this little flap. And Marv has a little, like a scratch on there from some distant, long ago cat fight that he had. And it's just, to me, it's always been the cutest part of a kitty. So that's my vote.
I'm having such a hard time picking a thing because I love their little paws. I love the little... I'm trying to think my favorite... And I love how soft their ears are and how weird and hairy they are inside. And I don't know what this would be called. So my favorite thing is when I pet Greg on the head and he's enjoying the little scratch on the head and he kind of looks up and his like mouth opens a little bit and he's got that weird little... Whatever that thing I think they smell in their mouth is, and it's like kind of above their tiny little...
Cock.
I think you're
teeth up
talking...
there.
it is the cock. I think you're talking about the jowl. I think we're
The
kind
jowl.
of both sort of talking about the same.
Oh, you're... Okay. All right. Maybe I like jowl too.
I can't believe nobody here said primordial pouch.
We should... All right.
Dude,
yeah,
I
think
bet
that's-
Deirdre
That's
would.
the best.
My
You know
wife
what?
Deirdre would every time either of them walks
Yeah,
by.
the second I
yeah.
said stop and we moved on, I was like, it's the primordial
Yeah, I
pouch.
think we
Yeah.
should
Really
just...
cool.
All right, let's just make that the official answer. is
Primordial
we all
pouch.
agree. At least it's second place on most of our lists.
It's made me feel more excited to get old to grow my own primordial pouch.
That's
Yeah,
what. That's
I
a
think
way
that's
better
just-
thing to call
It's
it.
just cool.
Do we have a consensus for worst part of the cat?
Butthole.
You think it is? I don't have a problem with Marv's butthole. I have more of a problem with his dick hole on it. Like,
Well,
the hole that the dick comes out of.
I'll say claw.
Yeah, I don't know.
It hurts me.
It does.
I've never really been able to enjoy a
At the same
cat's
time,
claws.
we'll
What
do
about
a
the-
full episode on declawing. Obviously, don't support that.
No, you got to put up with it.
I mean, you got to have something on your cat that you don't 100% love, and
But-
it's the claw.
If
Because
you
it
take-
hurts me, wrecks furniture. You
but the
gotta clip
cat
the nails.
loves having a claw.
Yeah,
it's
cat
like
loves
its
all
favorite
this
part
shit.
of its own.
Cat loves all this shit.
I don't think there's any other loser. If you look at the cat's anatomy, everything else is a winner.
I'll throw one out. I think that dew claw is kind of weird and gross.
The dew claw is weird.
claw is
That's like
weird.
having a vestigial tail.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
It's like
I
a
don't
skin
need it.
tag or something.
yeah.
I think you just
But it doesn't
maybe
bother
burn
me.
that off like
It doesn't
a wart.
bother me, but it shouldn't be there. It's wrong.
I don't like the fur.
We also clearly don't like the nipples.
Yeah,
the nipples are
weird.
weird. We're all
All right.
just
Get those
really
nipples
dancing
outta
around. We
here.
won't even talk about it. That's
Yeah.
how much we hate
What's
these cats'
funny?
nipples.
What's funny is that the primordial pouch has nipples on it, or at least some cats
dang.
have their nipples there.
Busted.
So it's
I have nipples, Dan. Can you fuck my asshole?
Oh, I think it's time to wrap up.
It is. We're getting
This
punchy.
is why we don't do 3. Can you imagine if we recorded
Oh my
3 in a
God.
day?
You didn't record 2. This is the very special one we did today.
Okay, so we have one more segment we are going to jump into. It's our final segment, and it is Cat of the Week.
Cat of the week, unfortunately, this week it was slim pickings out there, and I just decided to grab the low hanging fruit. I read the story.
It's not a
I
nice
thought it's
thing
at
to call,
least
Nick.
it's at least gotcha.
I'm getting older.
It's his primordial pouch. It's just this is kind of a gimme story, and it feels like something that could start a discussion. So the cat of the week this week is Olivia Benson, who is Taylor Swift's cat. And this week it was reported that her cat alone is worth $97 million. And this is collected from merchandise, from music video appearances that apparently she was paid for. She was in several Diet Coke ads, and her Instagram influencing money, I guess, goes to some solo account for cats. And what's hilarious about this story that she has $97 million net worth is that Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's new boyfriend, has a net worth of only $40 million. So her boyfriend makes less than half of her cat.
Danny, I have a net worth of about $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
So that's worse.
I mean, sure, we all look like financial pygmies compared to Taylor Swift's cat, but
So this is really a Cat of the Week and not a Public Enemy number 1.
this was the cat of the week.
It seems like a Public Enemy, this rich,
Well,
It
here's
depends
what I
on
want to
if you
know.
wanna-
Taylor,
rich fucking cat.
what's the cat doing with this money? Is he using it for good?
He's funneling it to military juntas in the South American. I don't know. It's she, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if the money really is like going into a cat account, but it is.
It's not.
But
I'll
it
tell
is
you.
the cat's reported net worth. So take that
Yeah.
for. I think if the cat,
Like if she were to insure this cat.
yeah, I think if the cat dies, she kind of does probably have enough power of attorney over the cat to be able to get the money back. But also, if the cat just somehow decided that she wanted to give the money away to charity or to one of us, to this podcast, that'd be cool. And
That would be
legally,
really
it could work
cool.
out
that
way.
would be cool. I would take back what I said about Public Enemy, but only under
Only
those
if
circumstances.
Olivia Benson does that cool thing.
I think if we got $97 million from this cat, we should take some of it, like the $7 million, and split it up amongst ourselves, just like and have it, and then we just take the 90 and put it back into the podcast.
I was going to say to give it to Taylor Swift, but you're right.
I
Maybe
think
we should.
I think there's my favorite part of this story is that it is based on just like every bizarre net worth thing you'll ever find on Google.
Yeah.
You just type in some of your friends. You can just type in their name.
I'm
and it'll
worth
be like,
$8 million on some of those
It is
sites. It's
just
crazy.
absolute
Really?
insanity.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you just admitted that you only have $1,200 in the bank.
I'm telling you, the $8 million is false.
I don't
This
know.
might be false too.
Is Taylor like a cat person?
Yeah, she has 2 cats. The other one has also a name from TV.
Is that one worth
It's
anything?
like Carrie Bradshaw's. I don't know.
Imagine kidnapping the wrong Taylor Swift
Yeah,
cat.
that one's worth $1,200.
Yeah. That cat is bullshit. Didn't even get mentioned. Well, because she's not as much of an Instagram influencer as Olivia Benson, the cat.
Well,
I
because
do
the other
want-
cat's not always on her freaking phone.
yeah.
I want to say this cat doesn't have a bank account. It's very strange to say the net worth of I think the cat has probably brought in $97 million for the Taylor Swift.
I think Danny nailed it where it's like, I think you said it. It was like, if you were going to insure this cat.
Yes.
This is like,
Yeah.
Right. This is a reportable net worth that the cat generates by being Taylor Swift's cat.
Kind of makes sense. I feel like Taylor Swift's for the ladies, you know?
I think if you're Taylor
It's good
Swift,
marketing.
like and your cat's not worth a ton of money, like what's going on in your life? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's an ugly cat. Then.
yeah. How could it not be?
Now, can I find a photo? I'm just curious what this cat looks like.
Just type in Olivia Benson nude.
I need to say something very quickly. So, Olivia Benson, the actress from Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that popped up when I just typed in Olivia Benson, I didn't type in cat by mistake. So she is worth $97 million. So do you
But
think
she's
that's
a
a crazy
character.
coincidence, or do you think the cat
But
is
she's
also
a
worth?
character. You think so? Mariska Hargitay is worth $97 million.
Well, it says her spouse. It says her parents. It says played by Mariska. Yes. So net worth $97 million, played by. But here's the thing. This is just a Google thing. I'm curious now. Where did you find that information?
The internet?
I know, but was it?
The friggin'
No, it was like a
internet?
fucking cat.
Wait a minute,
site.
Dan. This is Are we gonna?
Oh, man.
God damn it!
This says how much
You're
is.
our fact.
And you're
boy.
right. I
Why
got this
am I
right here.
wrong?
I got it right here. How much is Olivia Benson the cat worth? $97 million.
So get fucked.
More yes, and it's got all this stuff. But it's just interesting. I want to see how much the actress is worth.
Maybe they both made the same amount of money because having that name gets you $97 million.
That's what it might be. It might be. I don't mean to fact check
It's
you
a
live.
coincidence.
Okay, I'm gonna get my laptop out. I'm gonna do some research on the fly.
My favorite part about all this is that the reason why this information is so bad is because you make like $20 to write a blog post. And so these people just literally crank out some of the wildest things.
If we're gonna like really get in deep on the research that I did, I am quitting this podcast.
Okay, I got from Parade magazine that the actress Mariska Hargitay's net worth is $100 million.
Okay, so that's not 97.
500,000 an episode for Law and Order. God
That's
damn.
pretty cool.
That rocks.
good.
That's kind
Well, that's the podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this cat podcast about Mariska Hargitay. Folks, do you like us?
Marwiska Hargitay.
Harkite.
That's it.
Do you like us? Well, prove it. Subscribe to this podcast. Okay, go on Apple Podcasts, go on Spotify, find us, subscribe, leave a review, rate us 5 stars, the maximum amount of stars. And if you do, then you leave a review, and in that review, you mention your cat's names, and we'll shout them out on the podcast.
And tell us your favorite part of a cat.
That's right. And also, you want to find us on the internet? Well, on Instagram, we're at PuzzyBoyzPod, and you can email us, PuzzyBoyzPod@gmail.com.
All Z's.
All Z's, never forget that. And that has been our show. Thank you for listening, and we will meow at you next time. Meow.
Meow, meow.
Meow.